Hi there, Lillian here from Cards Crafts by Lily. Thank you for joining me. Our little video today is based on this gorgeous Moonlake stamp set and the bird image in particular. I've been asked to do a quick tutorial on this by a few people, so I thought I'd give it a go today. This is a technique called ink to card. Very, very simple, actually very, very quick. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. To start with, we've got our Whisper White cardstock, just a basic cardstock. It's perfect for inking, perfect for stamping. This is our, what is this? Saffron Ink Pad. And basically all I'm going to do is drag the ink pad across the cardstock about 3/4 of the way down I want it. And the tip on this is to try and apply the ink at an angle. If you apply it flat on, it's going to stick to the card. So you're going to drag it across at an angle, as I say, about 3/4 of the way down. Should do it. And don't stress, it might look a bit freaky, but it'll work out grand, trust me. It'll be lovely. So here we go. Simple as that. Close that up. The next one we're going to use is the Pool Party ink pad. Turn this round and finish off the bottom piece. Now you don't have to line it up exactly. There's nothing to stress about with this one at all. I've got a wee spot on that again. I always seem to do that. Anyhow, so that's that bit. It honestly is as easy as that. Now that looks a wee bit freaky, but trust me, it'll come out beautifully. It really will. Now, the next thing to do is to create a horizon line, and for that I'm using my Marina Mist Ink Pad and a little dauber. My dauber, unfortunately, is getting a wee bit frayed. It's been used so much. You're only really needing the corner of this, and we'll have to mask off. Remove that. Mask off where we want the horizon line to be. There we go. That should do it. And simply draw it, the dauber across to give this light line. With the mask. Simple as that. That's that bit done. Now what I want to do next basically is get the main image down, the bird image down. And this is the little fellow here. Hope you can see that. Okay, there's a bit of shadow. I haven't got great lighting in here, I must admit. And I'm using a StazOn Jet Black ink pad. Again, that's also available from Stampin' Up. You don't necessarily need to use the StazOn. Your Memento ink or a basic black will do fine, but my StazOn happens to be particularly black, which is what I want at the minute. So ink that up. I just want to sort of find where exactly I want to position it, and I reckon about there should be good. Press it down for a few seconds, lift it, and perfect. Now what I also want to do is use my Stampin' Majig. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but this is a Stampin' Majig here, and what I'm using it for basically is to get the little flower image. I don't want the birds. I want to make sure that I've lined up my flower images exactly where I want them and bring them down at an angle. So I've already pre-stamped the sheet with my bird image, and it's this part of the image that I actually want. So I lay it down where I think I want it to be, and position my Stampin' Majig so it's going to hold exactly where I want that to be positioned, and take the image sheet away. Now, as I don't want the whole image again, I'm just going to ink up with the corner of my ink pad the areas that I do want to stamp down, which is the foliage, the flower area. just like that. My Stampin' Majig's in place. I make sure not to move it. Place my block in the corner of the Stampin' Majig and put it down. Stampin' Majig is not a lovely name. Yes, I'm happy with that. Basically repeat the process. Move it over. See where you want to put the rest of the foliage, which to me is about there. Again, position the Stampin' Majig tool, hold it still, remove the image sheet. Excuse my arms being in the way. Ink up the foliage part of the stamp again. Stamp down. And yeah, I'm happy with the positioning of that. So, on to the next part. Okay, I'm going to mask off again just part of the image here and get my sponge and my Always Artichoke ink pad. These sponges are fabulous. Again, Stampin' Up sells them. I just cut them into quarters. Now, all I want to do is sort of get a soft image of a hill. Don't be too fussy about it. I'm just kind of getting the outline. I don't want to rub out the bird image or cover the bird image, so just do it lightly. And if you're happy with the shape, sort of colour it in just a wee bit better. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that. It looks like a hills in mist. It's slightly fuzzy looking, but that's quite a nice colour. I don't need this, so I'll get it out of the way. Remove the mask, and I'm happy enough with that. Staying with the Always Artichoke, just keep inking it up a wee bit. I'm just going to fill in what would be like the grassy bank area. I'll bring this over here actually. I'm not being too fussy about it. Take it up into the stamped image slightly. I'm just doing this roughly for now. I can come back and tidy it up later on, just as we progress. But that gives me a rough outline of the shore. Yep, I'm happy enough with that for now. So let's get that out of the way. Okay, next I use my markers to start colouring in the main image. Now the flowers I did in Melon Mambo, Hello Honey, Pacific Point, and I think there's some Calypso Coral if I remember correctly, and the stems and the leaves and all the rest of it I have done in Mossy Meadow. So let's get a start. As you know, these are double-ended. I am going to use the pen end, the narrow end, for this, so just bear with me. Okay, and let's get a little bit of highlight in there, I think. Try a wee flash of white gel pen, just picks it up. Sometimes you can lose the detail in green against green, I think. I'll leave that at that for now, and we can come back to it later if needs be. Okay, so the next thing we do is colour in our branches and the little bird. I'll start with the branches. Now, if I remember right, I used Tangelo Twist, I think, which sounds a bit funny, using an orange, but I thought it worked quite well. And I just kind of scratch down. I don't colour it in sort of like a block colour, as you might say. Kind of leave a wee bit for his wee claws. Claws? Is that? Birds don't have claws, do they? Anyway. A bit of chocolate chip marker. Kind of to draw out the darker bits of the branch again. I don't want to lose the detail too much. Kind of makes it pop out a wee bit better. There we go. And again, my old favourite, the gel pen, just to give it a wee flash of light across it. Now, the little bird, I mean, this is great fun. Just colour him in sort of whatever colours you think suits. I have used mainly Hello Honey. Actually, I'll try using the other end. I think that's a bit scratchy looking. Down his body. Back to the Tangelo Twist. I did around just above this little part of his eye and under his eye. Across his beak. Oh, sorry. I did some, I'll use the other end. Very lightly, just dab some down his wings. Down his tail. There we go. Now I used my basic black marker to bring out the black a little bit more. Just thought it needed a wee bit more definition. Again up here, down his body. I just dot it now. I don't draw. I just dot it. Pick up some of his claws. Down his tail. And etc., etc. Again, my lovely white gel pen. A little dot on his eye. I did a couple of little dots here just to highlight there, and a couple of scratches down the body, down the tail. It just needs a wee bit more definition. I could be wrong, I'm no artist. There we go. Right, clear this out of the way. Now, we're almost finished this stage of it. I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow ink pad just to bring out the grass a little bit more. I use the same sponge because it's a darker ink. I'm not going dark to light, light to dark. Okay, and just kind of work it in. Can you see how that's just getting a wee bit of depth to it? And I kind of use my nail to gather a little bit up in the corner and put a bit more definition, kind of shadow under the foliage there at the edge of the bank. Right, that's not bad. I think I've possibly lost a little bit of some of the foliage. Let's get a wee scratch here. Bring some of that back in with the white gel pen. Right, I could fiddle about with that to my heart's content, but we'll not overdo it. I'm happy enough with that for now. So let's get this out of the way. Okay, the next stamp set I'm going to use is the Trust God one, and I particularly like, in this instance, each one of us is God's special work of art. I think it's appropriate to the image that I'm using today. So I've already got it mounted onto my block. Again, I'm using my StazOn because I like it as it's nice and black, it's nice and dark. So get it inked up. Line it up on your image. I'm happy enough about there. Hopefully that's straight. Down for a few seconds. And there we go. That's that one done. Right, that just leaves us to mount it onto our card base. And this I am using the Always Artichoke cardstock. I've already got my insert stamped up and glued in. Before I do that, I just want to take a little nip off the corners just to give it a wee bit of detail. I'm using the 1/2 inch circle punch from Stampin' Up. Put it in about the centre of the circle. Line it up just as best you can and give 4 wee nips. And that's that. And that'll glue down to that. If you wanted to put brads or any detail in the 4 corners, you can, but I'm happy enough as it is, just with that wee piece taken out. I'm using my multi-purpose Tombow, the liquid glue. Excuse me, mine's a bit messy looking, but I really like this. It gives you a few seconds sort of to give it a wee wriggle about if you haven't positioned it down perfectly the first time. It's a very, very strong adhesive, so it's my go-to glue, I must admit. That's glued up. Let's just get this centered, get glue off my fingers, get it centered up. The shadow in here doesn't help. Hopefully that's it. As I say, it gives you a few seconds anyway to readjust if necessary, but I think that's all right, I think. Get it down. And that is that, as they say. I also use that technique to make this little card. It's totally different in the image used, but it's the same technique. It's basically, it's straight ink to card. So I hope you've enjoyed today's project, and there's further detail to be found on my blog, and that is cardcraftsbylily, all one word, .wordpress.com. So that's it for now, and looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.